connect, serve, and grow is what you can expect at the House of Reconciliation. Leadership, community, education, wellness, and participation is part of our plan for your spiritual growth and success. Family and faith is a core value for the House of Reconciliation, working to help people find their purpose. Want to make an impact in the kingdom? Ready to tap into your future? Meet us at the House Sundays with Pastor Reginald Campbell, www.houseofreconciliation.org.
Good morning and happy day to all of you. Those that are joining us from the Greenwood campus, we're here at the Greenville campus, 1427 Suite E Launch Road. We'd like to invite any of you that would like to be a part of our broadcast and early morning worship. Please don't hesitate. Join us each and every Sunday morning at 8:30 here under I Am Church. We are the House of Reconciliation. We thank I Am Church, their Bishop Jeff Akers, and to the I Am Church family. Our goal is to help find a building. So please, if you want to contribute to the building fund, don't hesitate to go to www.houseofreconciliation.org. It is an online giving button there. That is the goal, and that's what we're pursuing. And for those that are part of the Greenville campus and to the virtual campus, we thank you this morning for rising with us. We're going to look at the second month of the year and where we should be. And because it's a new year, many people had New Year's resolution. And we've been talking about staring, because this is actually positioning you and I to get ready for a move in our life. So we talked about staring in the dark. We've already established that words become seeds, and we're going to deal with the scripture, Proverbs, I believe it's 18 and 21. We talked, I believe, last evening about staring in the darkness of the moment. And this is where it gets real. And so there's kind of a twofold thing. There's two sides of the street that you and I have to choose. We did last summer Conflict at the Cliff, and now we're going to understand, are we delivering negativity or are we birthing life? And there was always a text that said, there's a thin line between love and hate. And I'm going to read the scripture. Yeah, it's a thin line between love and hate, because there are many love, I think, and I could be wrong. I think love can be all of 5 seconds. I think love can be all of 5 seconds. And then you can get 35 minutes of the hate. So here's what we want to look at. We want to look at what Proverbs 18 and 21 says, death and life is in the power of the tongue, and those who love it shall eat its fruit. This is why we started out talking about purpose over people. Here's the thing. We talked briefly about turn the direction of your tongue or else, and we're going to pick up right around in there. But the Good News Translation says this: what you say can, optical word here, can preserve life or destroy it. So you must understand the consequences of your words. I want you to say that with me. What you say. Now come on, y'all got to be a little bit more awake this morning. Everybody's like got that frog in their throat. What you say can preserve life or destroy it. So you must understand the consequences of your words. Now say this with me, because this, I think, is the title they asked me and I gave to them. Watch what you say today, tomorrow, and especially while you're trying to move on. Ask me why. Because you keep pulling yourself back. I wish I had some artistical people who could work with me, some theater type people. I would have a mind or a person that we would say a negative word and they would take a block and put it in front of them. And then let someone else say something about how their week was. And 85 to 95% of the people would talk about everything negative in that week. There's another block. And then to talk about what's wrong at home and what they need to do at home, and that's another block. And so here's what we do is we build this wall. We build this wall of insecurity. We build this wall of control. We build this wall of issues. And then we expect somehow for God to reach over there and pick us up out of all that we said when he has said in his word. Because we think running our mouths has no consequences. And so then we get to a point to where we're standing and staring in the dark. Because whether you like it or not, there's a dark side to every person out there. Good, bad, indifferent. People say, well, I've never done anything. No, it's not that you've never done anything. You never owned it. Because sometimes you can do some things and never own it. You never own that you're selfish and self-centered. You never own that you're controlling. You never own that you're insecurity. You never own. And so then the things that come out of your mouth first are mostly defensive and negative. And it's just the opposite of what God's word tells us that we should be. There are people that are sitting on the couch, people that are sitting around the breakfast table this morning that is watching this program, and I just wonder how many thoughts and how many words have you said and how many conversations have you said so this early this morning that has set up failure for you today. Because here's the dynamic that I share with everybody, and I'll say this again. Is it God developing you? Or is it you being you? Or is it the adversary? Most people cannot tell you which one they're dealing with. So the easiest thing to do is point the finger at God. And God says to you, just as he spoke the world into existence to those that believe in creativity, when he spoke it, when you speak, what you say now is in the atmosphere. Now, who is in the atmosphere? The adversary. So when you say something negative or bad about a person or bad about yourself, do you know, I wish I would have brought this. You are calling the troops of negativity. You're calling the enemy that desires to destroy you. This is why, I don't know if we have the PowerPoint up. This is why we have this, where you have all these voices in your head. Some of them have been there since the day you were a child. Some of them were put there because of association. And some of them were put there because you were dramatized. And so now we don't know who is guiding us. And I'll say this again. If it's a test and you or I can answer the test through our feelings and emotions, then it's truly not the test of change. We should be maturing to the point that when we have a test, it doesn't first go to the first department of our feelings. It should go to our intellect and intelligence that will call on our spiritual relationship with God. If God is developing you, it has purpose. If God is developing you, it has a beginning, a middle, and an ending. If it's you, you have to figure out where it came from. 90+% of the things that people are dealing with today comes from their past, their history, their failures, their brokenness, their anger. So that shapes the personality of today. It is really not who they are, but their personal experiences has caused them to create a defense mechanism. I don't know how people live with, I don't want nobody to tell me nothing, but I definitely don't know where I'm going. Okay? I don't want to listen to you. I'm broke. I'm in pain. I'm miserable. But I don't want you to tell me nothing. But I need help. I want to get better, but I don't want to listen. Then the third party is the adversary. And the adversary uses one avenue that we oftentimes make very available. And you know what that is? Our attitude. Because the attitude has the power to shut down hearing. Hearing has the power to shut down learning. If you can't hear, you can't listen. If you can't listen, you can't learn. So the adversary has a tool into each and every one of us. And so when it's the adversary, it generates negativity. And it generates a response that makes an individual feel safe. That's when it's the adversary. Because for God to develop you and I, it boils down to God has to stretch us. I won't change, but I don't want the cross. I want to go to heaven, but I really don't want a relationship with God. No, tell the truth. You just don't want to go to hell because it's hot. Because I talked to the clinical psychologist, and he said these words to me. We are headed to being a lawless nation, which means there are no consequences for what anybody does. So then it becomes cannibalism. If you don't agree with me, I just run over you. You don't agree with me? Pow, wild, wild west, I just shoot you. We don't need a lawyer. We don't need a judge. We don't need a jury. We'll just handle this matter. So whoever bullet comes out first and hits the other person, then that settles the issue. And so we put up, well, we didn't put them up, but some of us conceal our guns, and our mouths have become our guns. That tongue is a powerful thing. Let me give you this because I've got to close because it looks like you're thinking already. But I want to give you something. Watch what you say today and moving on. Is it God? Is it me? Or is it my adversary? What's the tool of the adversary? Attention to self. What I want. Let me give you something where most people are hung up at. Here's what it says. Yesterday's words means yesterday's decisions are causing many problems that we're having today. What does that mean? We didn't draw a conclusion. We didn't close the door. We didn't leave it in 95. We didn't leave it in 2012. We didn't leave it in 2004. The same financial issues we had back then, we have now. Because we have refused to adjust our lives. Ask me why. It's much easier to play victim. Because playing a victim means I don't have to be responsible for any of my actions. So the whole purpose of Jesus Christ was for us to be responsible for the gifts and the talents and the purpose that Jesus Christ has put in our life. But my decisions and my words 5 years ago, I don't need school. I don't need anybody to tell me what to do. But I need a better pay. I need a better job. Then you need a better skill. You need a better attitude. Oh, I want that kind of house, but you don't want that kind of responsibility. Yesterday's decisions, yesterday, are causing many people to still be, you know why? Because it's still attached to their spirit. You may have walked away from 2012. You may have left 2019. You may be in 2022. But mentally and spiritually, some of us are still in 75. Some of us are still stuck in 86. Some of us are still stuck when we didn't become a Girl Scout. Some of us are still stuck because we didn't get into a Greek organization. Some of us are still stuck because we wasn't the president and we didn't make the cheerleading team. Some of us are still stuck because we're blaming race. Some of us are still stuck because we're mad at someone. Some of us are still stuck because we didn't get over the breakup. So now we're in a marriage and we're making the marriage miserable because we were stuck. And some of us are still stuck because we won't accept that we need to change. Some of us are still stuck because we look at everybody else for our issues when we have the power to do what we need to do every day. It's not about who's in front of us. It's about who's walking with you. It's not about who's in front of you. Because what you see in the mirror is not who you are. What you see in the mirror is carrying the goal, is carrying the value, is carrying the principles that God has instilled in you. What's in the mirror is just a fragment. You didn't have anything to do with how you were born or who you were born to. You've got to wake up and see the power of God in your life. But you can't do that, and we can't do that if it's all about us. Because we don't want to stretch. Yesterday's words are causing many problems that we're having today. Here's the catch. Today's words are making decisions for tomorrow when tomorrow has its own set of problems. So the words that I'm saying today, I ain't doing nothing. So everything that you should have been doing today, looking, scout, and let me say this to help some people. And the reason some people are not looking and not moving, you know why? The first thing you're going to get is rejection. We don't see rejection as direction. You don't need to take a job or go to a school that's not going to help you finish. The problem is you take it personal when you should process it through your intellect and examine why, and then correct the one or two or three or four things that are out of line, and then realign yourself. Many people have stopped on the first step, and the first step of anything moving forward is resistance. And so many people go into something with their feelings and emotions and not their intellect and intelligence, and definitely not the spiritual intuition of God and their cognitive ability to think. And they don't look for spiritual insight, and God knows they have no spiritual foresight. So then guess what? They are once again trapped. Most people don't get up and tell themselves and say, here's the whole point. We think this is for people that have addictions. Everybody in this room is an addict. Drugs is just stuff people point out. Oh, they're on drugs. Oh, they do this. And, they do that. I don't do that. Well, you're addicted to stupidity. You're addicted to self-inflicted wounds. Some people are addicted to poverty. Every time you turn around, Some people in conflict with their feelings. Everything said to them, they take it personal. Everything that's said to them, they take it personal. Everything. They hurt my feelings. Well, you're never going to move on. And then some people wrap themselves up, as a psychologist was saying. We saw a video that she was saying, and it really opened my eyes. It talked about arrogant, vain, cocky. She said all that's insecurity. Stubbornness, rejection, denial, all that's insecurity. Anger, bitterness, attitude, all that's insecurity. People are hiding behind. And I'm telling you and I, we have to unmask who we are to develop to what we were supposed to be in purpose and in life. So today's words the decisions will cause many problems tomorrow. Ask me why. Because tomorrow don't have any plans if you don't have any. The enemy has already set up the stumbling blocks. Tomorrow has no plans if you don't have any. Tomorrow has no movement if you don't work through faith. Tomorrow cannot even accomplish 1/3 of what it's supposed to do if you're not prepared. I don't know if you know this, and I'm getting ready to close. You are the leader and the key to your future. You are the leader and the key to your future. It's not in anybody's hands. You have the keys. And part of that key is what comes out of your mouth. So if all of these people are in our head, then what's coming out of your mouth? And I'll say it as I close. Is it God? Is it developing me? Is God saying, hey, Reggie, I've got to stretch you. You've got to get around people that you feel uncomfortable with because the familiar is not developing you. So I have to put you in the unfamiliar. But I will protect you with my word and my grace. See, you're thinking God's not going to protect you, and he gives you this. He says, I think in Psalms, he says, surely goodness and mercy shall what? Not lead you, but shall, how long? So what's the fear factor? If I walk uprightly before God, and God is the center of my attention, then what's my issue? Because when I'm walking by faith and walking into my purpose, it doesn't matter who's my friend and who's not. Surely, goodness and mercy shall what? Even though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death. You need to look at that in this real context. I have a shepherd. I have a cover. I have a covering. I have a security guard. Yeah. Because the Lord is and I. So even in the valley where I see the dark sights of voices and I hear people say this and I feel the threats of people, I have a covering. Y'all think about that one. I'll see you soon.